Hello, and welcome back to True Crime Guys Podcast. I'm Michael.
And I'm Andy.
What's up, Andy?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you, man?
I didn't ask, but I'm doing fine. We are back, guys, and don't forget we're also back on YouTube. You can watch every single episode in pretty crystal clear video, if I'm being honest with myself. And you're also getting pictures and all the stuff that you would Google while you're listening right there in front of your screen, thanks to my lovely wife, Kristen, who edits our videos even better than I edit the podcast. If you listen to the last few episodes, I've missed a few things. Andy was just telling me before the show that I missed another outtake in one of the episodes, and oh my God, y'all, what have I done this before? I don't think I've done this before. Have I done this before, Andy?
You slipping, Michael. You slipping.
Right.
You got to get back into the groove,
Apparently
Michael.
I am.
Took a little vacation.
200 episodes in, and now I can't fucking edit a podcast all of a sudden.
Yeah, man. You guys
I apologize for that, guys. That's a little look behind the sines, I guess.
took your first vacation this whole time.
Do you know about where that is? If somebody wants to go find that little Easter egg?
Find it for us. Let us know.
This is what I need. I need a whole bunch of proof listeners that I can send my podcast out to. I'm just going to start sending it to you, Andy, before it goes on. Be like, here, listen to this. Is this good?
Tell me how it sounds, baby.
Yeah. Tell me good things. Tell me good things. Instead of telling me days after.
Days after.
It's one day after, okay? Because, if you guys don't know, we record on Thursdays and then we release the following Wednesday. So it gives us 6 days of production time, and I still can't edit worth a shit. So,
hey, man, you gotta make those. You gotta make those intros all the time. It's got you got a lot of brain space taken up.
There's way too much. I don't have a lot to begin with. But like I said, guys, please check us out on YouTube. If you're not subscribed on there, guys, please do. It helps us out a ton. It helps us to get our channel monetized and actually helps support the show on there just by downloading and subscribing. I think we're at about 1,400 subscribers on there, which is crazy because that's only a fraction of our listeners. So if you guys, even if you don't listen on YouTube, please check out True Crime Guys on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. It'll help us out a ton. Thank you so much. Also, another way to help us out, patreon.com/truecrimeguys, where you guys can get access to everything we have ever made. And I put a post out on social media and Patreon. I'm super excited about this, guys. Patreon has finally added collections.
Finally,
I have suggested this every once in a while. We are what Patreon calls a founder on Patreon. I guess because we got there so early, so we're grandfathered in on a lot of things. But really, I think they just do that so they can bug you about your opinion on their platform. But every time they have, I've said collections. We need to be able, like YouTube does. You know how you can make playlists? Same thing.
Yeah, we
Same
need folders. We need to.
we need something
so
to
much
divide
content.
Yes, we need to divide the content in some way other than just when it was released. Because we would throw Vault episodes up there, a whole bunch in a row, and then you would have to scroll pages in between Patreon exclusives that were released right after each other. So it kind of got out of hand. But I went on there and I pre-made a bunch of collections for you guys. So if you just want to listen to all of the regular True Crime Guys proper Patreon exclusives, you can do that now. I think there's like 70-something of them, and the later ones all have video with them as well. And then if you want to listen to all, say, Higher Thoughts or the Just the Banter, when me and Lauren were doing that, I think Andy came on right at the end of Just the Banter. So all of those catalogs are separated, and you can listen to all those shows in order. You can listen to all 40-something episodes of Higher Thoughts in order. That's kind of crazy. I didn't realize I had that many.
I mean, if you've got a whole bag to go through, that's a long session.
Hey, listen, I'm telling you.
We got some thoughts, man.
Yeah, exactly. Sandu Stories is on there. But anyways, guys, again, that's at patreon.com/truecrimeguys. You can check the link as right below the description of this episode, as well as YouTube. Next week, guys, we won't be here on the free platform. We will be on Patreon, but here on the free platform, we'll be doing headlines and shenanigans.
We will be doing some headlines.
We will be here on YouTube as well, doing headlines and shenanigans, which is, if you guys aren't aware, is the show we did all summer. So, I mean, maybe you didn't listen, but it's basically a show where we talk about funny and current things in the true crime world and just in the world in general, honestly.
Yeah. If you guys remember Strange Shorts, it's kind of what Strange Shorts has kind of evolved into, to kind of bring it all into one channel. So
exactly. And if you don't know Strange Shorts, you can go on Patreon and let's do the whole collection.
They're there.
But that's enough of that, guys. Let's get into this week's episode. I thought we would take a break for some cults. I've had about enough cult shit for a couple weeks, but we will get back into it. We have a whole list of cults.
They just keep popping up everywhere.
They're everywhere.
They never stop.
Everywhere. People just love to be accepted, man. They do. They need that acceptance. They need that community. They're just going about it the wrong way. They're so close. Like last week, the cult was so close. And then you had to go and make kids slaves. And it's just too far.
They always just lose it on the kids every time.
They lose it on the kids. But this week, we're doing something completely different, a case from the 90s. Okay, this was just a one-off random murder for no apparent reason. It is donned the pizza killings or the thrill killings, depending on where you're from. I know a lot of people, it seem like in the local area of New Jersey, called it the thrill killings, simply because that seems to be why these two perpetrators committed this crime. Of two young delivery drivers from Tony's Pizza in New Jersey. They had their lives tragically cut short when they were ambushed and killed while delivering 2 cheese pizzas to a local home in rural Sussex County on April 19th, 1997, changing this small community forever. And this case just kind of shocked me in the way that it happened.
It's kind of everybody's worst fear of the absolute random act of violence. Well, it's not even like you didn't piss off the wrong person. Mm-hmm. You weren't like stalked by somebody. This wasn't a known perpetrator in the area, like a serial killer. It was a pure random thrill killing, and that's what scared the public so much.
It was.
This could just happen to two random people.
Exactly. And now, in this day and age, I feel like this would be even more likely to happen, because who doesn't have like everything delivered?
Yeah.
It's like, I remember my parents telling me growing up in the 90s, they were telling me how, you wouldn't believe it, but one of the most dangerous jobs is pizza delivery. People used to say that shit all the time. They're like, oh, number 2 worst job in America is pizza delivery. It's right after firemen or whatever. It's most dangerous. And I was like, what?
Yeah,
but this case proves it. And it proves that, sometimes if you have a bad feeling about something, you should listen to that feeling. But it is a sad story. It really is. But it's one we need to cover. It's one that deserves more attention. I was really surprised. There's not that much out there. There's one book on this that is, in my opinion, not the best. Not the best written.
It's a light read.
It's a very light read. It's like 150 pages.
It's like a young adult novel.
I think I have more than the summary of it for sure, and we'll be talking a little bit about that author of that book and some of the interviews and whatnot that he had with the killers in this case. So that's pretty much it. I think that's enough prelude. You want to get into it?
I think it's about time, Michael.
All right, let's roll that intro. We'll see you on the other side.
You guys ordered the 2 pizzas? They had a total $16.50.
Yeah, Tommy, you got the money?
Yeah, I got the money. It's right here.
Oh shit! Fuck! We did it!
Somebody's life, shaking like a leaf under moonlight. They got the devil in their eyes. It happened so fast, all the blood and glass, and the sound ringing in their ears. The future's all gone in a flash. They'll be paying for this for years. Yes, they will. Paying for this for years. Yeah, you was a stupid son of a bitch. You could have found some other way to scratch the itch instead of taking an innocent life. All right, guys. Our case this week, like we said, is the pizza killers. And I wanted to start this case. This is a very short story, just start to finish. This could be a 10-minute episode if we wanted it to be, and obviously in True Crime Guys fashion, we are not going to do that. We're going to discuss, and I dug deep on this, and I want to lay out this story in a proper fashion. So, Andy, if you would you cue the music?
I would, Michael.
That we selected earlier to kind of set the scene here in rural Sussex County. Go ahead. Very nice. Very nice. Don't let it get too loud, Andy. Got to keep it just the right mood. Perfect. So in the depths of rural Sussex County, New Jersey, an atmosphere of safety hung in the air. Farms stretched out as far as the eye could see. Dilapidated houses whispered tales of long-gone inhabitants, and charming antique shops nestled in quaint communities. Little did anyone know this idyllic backdrop would soon be stained with the blood of two innocents, sparking an unprecedented frenzy of national and global attention. Tragedy knows no bounds, and the arms of violence can reach even the most unsuspecting of places. And Sussex County found that out on that fateful Saturday night of April 19th, 1997, when the unsuspecting Tony's Pizza and Pasta in Hardyston, New Jersey, received a mysterious call. The voice on the other end of the line requested 2 pizzas to be delivered to the address of 196 Scott Road in nearby Franklin, New Jersey. But this request was far from ordinary. Tony soon discovered that they weren't the only pizzeria to have received a call to this address. The caller had brazenly reached out to numerous other establishments, only to be met with refusal, as they were too far away, and it was quite late. In hindsight, some believed these businesses sensed something sinister lurking beneath the surface and elected to decline them service. Yet despite the unease and suspicion, Tony's Pizza and Pasta ultimately gave in. However, they were not foolish enough to send their 22-year-old employee Jeremy Giordano alone into the unknown. No, the owner, Giorgio Gallara, went with him on this ill-fated journey, determined to see his employee get home safe. And so, at around 10:30 p.m., Gallara and Giordano left the pizzeria, heading for 196 Scott Road, having no idea that tonight would forever shatter the illusion of peace in Sussex County. So here's where we'll pick up. So Giordano and Gallara, they pull up to the house. Under the cover of darkness, 17-year-old Jason Vreeland and 18-year-old Thomas Koskovich, we'll be referring to them mostly by their last names, Vreeland and Koskovich, for the rest of the episode, were standing in the driveway of what appeared to be an abandoned house. Okay, so as the car came to a halt, Gallara, positioned on the passenger side, rolled down the window and told the boys that they owed $16 and some change. I think it was $16.50 or so for the pizzas. And suddenly, Vreeland turned to Koskovich and whispered something about having the money. Then Koskovich reached into his pocket, but instead of money, his hand emerged clutching a .45 caliber semi-automatic pistol. Gunfire immediately erupted. The car became a battleground as Gallara and Giordano fought for their lives. Vreeland, armed with a .22 caliber revolver, instinctively fired with Koskovich. After the deadly exchange, Koskovich and Vreeland coldly discarded the lifeless bodies from the car, where they fired a few more rounds to confirm their kills. Before leaving them sprawled out on the ground, there's no money or anything was taken from the scene. There was no robbery whatsoever, which is important. It was later determined that Koskovich fired the fatal .45 bullet that claimed Giordano's life, and Vreeland killed Gallara with a single .22 bullet to the back of the head. It's like Richard Ramirez style. It's like that's just planned. There's only one way you can do that. Like that. This is important. Vreeland never admits to this shot.
Yeah, he never admits to the kill. Like he says, he even says like, I didn't fire in the car. I just fired into the dash.
Yeah.
And then, but
well,
there
you
are
hit something on the way to the dash, friend.
But there's 2 bodies laying in the ground with a .22 caliber bullet in the back of one of the heads.
Exactly.
So,
and we know from studying true crime, you know, if a .22 caliber bullet enters the skull, it doesn't come out the other side. It bounces around in there. That bullet never touched the dash. But as the killers ran back to Koskovich's vehicle, Koskovich was the older. As I mentioned earlier, he was 18, Vreeland was 17. Koskovich said, I can't believe we did this. I can't believe we did this. And they're excited, okay? To which Vreeland replied, I love you, man, before they hugged and got back in Koskovich's car. Like, they are on cloud 9 right now, Andy. They obviously, this is what they plan to do. I mean, this actions by Vreeland, does this sound like somebody who was drug into something? You just hugged your best friend and said, I love you, man, after killing 2 people. It seems like you're in good spirits about this.
It seems very much like this was a planned attack. This was something you guys were thinking about, you were excited about, you were ready for this to happen. And yes, running away and almost cheering, you're not making a case for yourself that you were like manipulated into anything.
No.
You kind of seem almost as willing a participant as you could have been. I mean, yes, there is the little bit of the whole like if one was more aggressive, would the other one have done? There's always that debate, but yeah, when you're kind of cheering afterwards, you don't really give off the manipulated victim card.
No, I think these guys were kind of the fire and gasoline situation. You know, they were both ready to ignite, and then having someone back them up that felt the same way, it was an easy decision for them. Mm-hmm. So, on their way to Koskovich's house, he and Vreeland stopped in front of a church in Franklin, where they apparently got out of the car, made the sign of the cross on their chest, and probably barfed. I don't know what the hell they did.
Probably still in shock a bit. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. They got to be in shock at this point still.
Or the shock is wearing off at this point. Like, that's probably what they might be coming out and being like, yeah, kind of just in or maybe still a state of shock, being like, I don't know what to do. Like, we just, oh God. Like,
well, that would be shocking if they did pull over and ask forgiveness and repent, because they certainly never did that from their victims' families, and they certainly never apologized either. Once home, Koskovich put the guns and bloody clothes in a bag and placed it under a pane of glass outside his house. It doesn't really explain this much. I'm like, was it stained glass or something? Because that seems like the worst place to hide something.
That's what I thought too.
Am I wrong? Like,
was it like an old window? I heard the same thing, and I was looking through it, and I was like, a pane of glass?
Was this? Of glass? You know, that's see-through.
That's literally like the one thing it's like you could just hit it in water, like just a bucket of water.
A nice fresh bucket of water,
too. Like a bucket of water.
Nice and clean. But local police, they went to work fast. They were determined, obviously, to catch these cold-blooded killers that had rocked their small community. I mean, people were freaking out at this time. This is not something that happened in this small rural community. So, starting with Tony's Pizza, they traced the last call, which took them back to a Dunkin' Donuts, which was walking distance from the pizza place, basically. And the truth slowly emerged as Dunkin' Donuts surveillance footage from that night revealed Koskovich and Vreeland casually borrowing a phone book at 10 p.m.
Remember, this is the 90s, so yes.
He was borrowing a phone book.
It is strange to go to like a Dunkin' Donuts and be like, can I borrow your phone book? Like, that's just it's like a weird place to be like, hey, I need to make a call. Can I borrow your phone book and then go to this payphone? I guess maybe this was a different time, but like you would think that in most payphones used to have a phone book in the payphone. Like that was always a thing. There was like a book in the payphone,
but
or
I
there
feel
was
like
a
by
directory.
97 they were all messed up. They were all fucked up. They were all torn and shit, and half the pages were torn out because somebody was like, that's the person I'm looking for. And they rip it.
Yeah, all
they take
the Terminator assassins coming through time are like, yep, that's the page.
Yep, that's my guy.
Next cyborg comes through, that's my page. Oh, he took the page I needed.
That's what I imagined as a kid. I was just like, who would tear up this phone book? I guess people really needed those numbers.
And now Michael, as a casual smoker in his adult life, is like, that's where all those papers went. Sons of bitches.
That inhalation, though, not good for you.
Those yellow pages, baby, burn real well.
But yeah, so they were caught on camera using Dunkin' Donuts' phone book and probably the phone outside of there as well. I mean, because they can't make these calls at home, you know? They can't have anyone hear them ordering these pizzas. Because we find out later they called many places, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I kind of referenced that in the beginning as well.
And they couldn't make the call at the house that they were having it delivered to because that was just an abandoned house. Like, they didn't live there either, so they couldn't go to the home and make the call there and have them just deliver it to the house.
Yep, exactly. According to the New Jersey Herald, a local paper, a friend of Koskovich named Christine Slater contacted the police on April 20th, 420. She informed them that Koskovich had mentioned his desire to kill a pizza delivery person on the day of the murders.
Yeah. It's not a good thing when you're kind of just casually spitballing ideas with your friends like that. Like, never just spitball your murder ideas.
No.
Never just kind of like...
You should keep those hidden? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, never blue sky those with your friends. No? Like, that's always one of the things. It's like, did you just randomly question how to kill your boss? Like, I'm just spitballing.
I'm just spitballing. Would you guys rather a group text? Maybe an email thread?
Yeah.
Would that be better? Huh? I'll just comment on your Facebook post. But yeah, so he told a friend, probably trying to impress this girl, that he wanted to kill a pizza delivery person. I don't think that's a coincidence.
He very much seemed like the kind of, I don't want to say like the Dylan Klebold, Columbine shooter. He was kind of one of those edgier late 90s like kind of tough kids who wanted to seem like really edgy. Like he was the kind of guy who was like I think it's either Koskovich or which one of it is who used to walk around the hallways and literally like jump at you and be like, I'm gonna kill you. He was trying to,
that was probably
he wanted to be
Koskovich.
an antagonizer. He wanted to scare people. He like, that's so even kind of hearing that from a friend would be like, that's just him being creepy. He's just creepy. So I could see where it might get blown off, but.
Exactly. So yeah. Additionally, a resident of Scott Road, where the murders took place, called the police and reported seeing Koskovich's car on the road that night. So between the surveillance footage, the testimony from the friend, and then the Scott Road witness, the police felt like they had plenty for an arrest. And so they arrested Koskovich and Vreeland on April 21st, 1997. Upon searching their properties, the police found guns, blood-soaked clothes in a gym bag, and Galar's wallet. Why did you? I mean, but also they said nothing was stolen.
I guess they didn't think that, like, because they left the pizzas out back. I guess they didn't see anything apparently stolen at first, but I guess that maybe they took the wallet and they didn't notice.
That is weird to me that the police. I just now thought about that the police didn't say that, or at least every article I found said that nothing was stolen from the scene, so it made them think it wasn't a robbery. But I mean, a wallet. I mean, this guy was 25 years old. He was the owner of this pizza establishment. He had a wallet.
You would think so. If his wallet's not at the pizza place, it's not in the car.
My man been driving for almost 10 years. He's got a wallet.
Yeah, he's a business owner. He's got business cards in that wallet.
It just seems odd to me. The local paper reported that Koskovich confessed, while Vreeland claimed that he did not harm the victims and only shot the dashboard, as Andy was talking about earlier, to prove his loyalty to Koskovich. And you listen, man, you may have been aiming at the dashboard, but that ain't what you hit. Yeah. There's a .22 caliber bullet in the back of Galar's head, and that's you can't argue that.
Well, they did say that there was 8 shots fired into the car, and like 7 shots were fired from the .45, and 1 shot was fired from the .22, and that's in the car.
That's all it took.
But that's in the car. Now, maybe he did when he shot in the car. Maybe he didn't kill him. So
you're saying maybe when they pulled him out,
he did shoot him, and he just doesn't want to confess to that.
They put that at his cause of death, though.
Was the 22?
The 22 in the skull was the cause of death.
Yeah, but
whether he did it in the car or on the ground, either way.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying
this guy deserves life.
I think he's just not wanting to confess that he did execution style kill him. He's saying, "Oh, I just fired into the car." And they're thinking, oh, he just got hit by one of, his bullets, not mine.
Right.
It's like, no, we found your gun and your bullets in the back of his head from an execution killing.
Exactly. Now, Vreeland, who was a minor, he was 17 technically when arrested, was sent to juvenile detention center. While there, he allegedly told another inmate that he only shot the dashboard and that he and Koskovich wanted to experience what it felt like to kill someone. So which is it, dude? Which is it?
I'm still surprised, even at 17 in like New Jersey, he was tried as a minor for a murder like this. And
he was, but he still got life.
So, he did eventually, but it's like
the only
just the
thing
idea
being a minor did for him was not give him the death penalty. That's it.
True, yeah. But it's like, I'm surprised they didn't even immediately just be like, oh no, you're getting tried as an adult. You're 17 and you just cold-blooded murdered somebody. Like, I'm surprised they didn't even remotely consider like, nope, no juvenile.
Exactly. Well, this isn't all these fellas did. The police looked into them, and 11 days before the killing, at Adventure Sports, a store that sells hunting, fishing, camping supplies, and of course, this is America, firearms. It was later found out that Thomas Koskovich broke into the store while his friend Michael Conklin, who was 19 years old, waited in a car ready to escape. The robbery was successful because the store's alarm system didn't even work properly that day. Koskovich stole 3 guns, a .22 caliber revolver, a .44 caliber semi-automatic pistol, and a .40 caliber semi-automatic pistol.
I feel like that Michael Conklin guy, he is one of the, like, I don't like to use the phrase dodged a bullet, but he like had the gut reaction to be like,
yeah,
I may be okay with being your getaway driver for a robbery, but like when they started talking about using these guns to specifically rob someone, kill them, then sell the guns, get drug money, like they were trying to do all these other plans, Michael Conklin was just like, I was okay with robbing a sporting goods store.
Yeah.
You guys go from here. Like,
and Conklin was also down for the original plan with the guns because Koskovich wasn't completely honest with Conklin. The reason he wanted these guns was obviously to kill someone, but what he told Conklin, according to Vreeland, was the original plan was that Koskovich and Vreeland were to sell the stolen guns to buy cocaine and then sell the cocaine. Okay, so there's no paper trail getting the cocaine.
gotcha. Okay.
So I asked, why didn't you just do that? Like, I would so much rather you do that, right? Then this is just a story that they tell their friends and they're not in prison, and we don't have this awful story of you taking someone's life. Like, if you wanted to be a badass, you wanted to be a gangster or whatever, why didn't you just go with this original plan?
Because they didn't want to be a gangster. That wasn't about
they
trying
wanted to kill
be
someone.
He wanted to feel what it felt like to be a murderer. He wanted to take a life and not to be cool, not to be a gangster, not to be tough.
Yeah.
It was a pure thrill killing.
Yeah. But later on, the plan also involved robbing, not killing, 2 pizza delivery workers, and Conklin was supposed to be part of it too. However, he decided to bow out when Koskovich started talking about murder. Because I'm sure Koskovich was like, well, you know, if they stand up to us or we meet any resistance, we'll just shoot them.
Yeah, we got to. Like, we got to kill them then.
The way that these guys talked about pizza delivery guys as if they're not only are they people, I mean, gosh, they were people that they knew. Vreeland and the 22-year-old
Jeremy, I believe.
Jeremy, they knew each other. They went to school together.
I'm 90% sure. I could be wrong in this, and it may have been in the book, but they called Tony's Pizzeria originally and asked if Jeremy was working that night.
They did, and they said yes, he is.
So originally they were like, well, we know him, so let's not do that.
Exactly.
And then they called all these other pizza places, they called all around, and everybody turned them down, and they went back to Tony's.
Yes.
So it's like they even knew who they were going to be killing.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, and Vreeland, he recalled a talk between Conklin and Koskovich where Conklin asked Koskovich, he said, why target pizza delivery men? To which Koskovich replied, quote, they're easy to attack, and I just want to experience the thrill of killing someone, end quote.
Yeah, like you said, that used to be one of the most dangerous jobs in the country, just to be like, yeah, I guess I'll just answer this anonymous phone call and take this hot meal to a stranger across town.
Like I said, though, that's even scarier nowadays because so many people do that.
It is, yes, but at least
people get off work and then do that.
Yeah, at least now you have at least there's some sort of verification with the Uber and the tracking and you got to get certified. You got to have references to be a driver. But yeah, back in the day, it was you just hired some kid and sent them to the bad part of town with the Domino's and were like, good luck.
But you don't have to give a lot of information to pay, though.
No! How many times have you gotten food delivered and your driver app says, oh, it's so and you'll see this picture of somebody they'll be here in 10 minutes. Yeah. And then the person who comes walking up with your food looks nothing like that person, not even remotely. You're like, you are not Samantha.
No, they're covering for somebody.
Yeah, it's that's not,
Yep, exactly. So let's talk a little bit more about these pizza killers themselves. Let's start with the 17-year-old Jason Arthur Vreeland. He was born September 5th, 1979. And according to him, he had a tough childhood. He often moved to different places and struggled with bullying at school. On one occasion, a bully even broke his arm. It's pretty rough. Jason recalls an incident where he was dragged out of a school bus by the bully while the bus driver did nothing to stop it.
You don't want to believe it, but we both know that schools were just were rougher. So
I've seen this. Jason fought back when he was forced to defend himself. Vreeland said he started using drugs when he was 14 years old because he wanted to fit in with the other kids at school. And he found that the kids who used drugs didn't pick on him like the other kids did.
Yeah, because they were all too stoned to care.
Exactly. He remembers going to Tony's for pizza with his family when he was younger. He also knew Jeremy Giordano, so he hung up when he found out that Jeremy was working that night. That's what Andy was referring to. The first time they called Tony's, they found out that Jeremy was working, so they immediately cut that off and called every other pizza place in the whole area. But the problem was Tony's Pizza was in that area. They're the ones that delivered to that
They were
area.
the only ones who would deliver to that house.
Yeah.
And he's like, he very clearly did not want to target somebody that he knew. They wanted this to be a random, accidental, no traced back attack. But if they targeted somebody they knew, they could have like a connection to him, and he would actually feel bad about that. So
I think that's also why Vreeland didn't shoot Jeremy.
I think so.
He
as
was
well.
on the other side of the car on purpose. I think he had no intention of shooting Jeremy.
Because he would remember that. He would remember that face. He knew that person. He knew him as a person and not just a pizza delivery guy.
Not just some random person. But I would say the most cold-blooded of the crew, Thomas Koskovich. Let's talk about him next. He was born May 6, 1978. His parents abandoned him, so his grandmother, Bertha, took care of him. However, Bertha had her own problems with addiction to painkillers and alcohol, as well as gambling. Koskovich spent a lot of time with his uncle Leonard, who was a career criminal and a drug addict. Because of this influence, Koskovich started using drugs at a young age. He would steal pills from his grandmother and do them with his uncle. Allegedly, he started making narcotics with his uncle at age 10.
I heard it wasn't making the narcotics, but he was like prepping all the narcotics for his uncle to either use and or sell.
Well, whatever.
Like
He's part of the process of distributing narcotics at 10 years old.
I just didn't think of like a 10-year-old like Walter White, like with the beakers, like I just
he's just weighing shit out. He can
just
do that. He can read a scale, right?
I can read these numbers. Yeah, put it in the scale. There
Yeah,
you go.
exactly.
Wrap it up. Small hands. Wrap it up. Here we go.
But both Vreeland and Koskovich were found guilty, and they were given life sentences. Vreeland will have a chance at parole October 14th, 2044, when he is 65 years old, and Koskovich will have a chance at parole October 20th, 2072, when it sounds like from a futuristic movie, when he is 94 years old, if he makes it.
Ripe young age.
Yes, ripe young age indeed.
And let's remember that Koskovich was originally given the death sentence.
Yeah.
Like when they originally tried him, he was given the death sentence. And I think for 13 years he sat with the death sentence until it was overturned. So,
Right.
Yeah, so he was originally, they were like, no, you are kind of sick. Like, we need to go ahead and take you down.
Yeah, you're staying in there, dude.
This episode is brought to you by Betterhelp. Tell me this, creepers. Do you, like me, lie in bed at night, begging for that sweet relief of sleep to take you, only to be kept awake by the out-of-control freight train that is every mistake you've ever made since birth? Oh yeah, creeps. That's a normal run-of-the-mill night for Andy here. Oh what, you thought this dark humor and wit came from talent? Oh no, baby. That's 100% homegrown trauma right there. And if you've got some trauma in your life as well, I want to let you know there's help available, even for you. I can speak for myself when I tell you that talking to someone about those traumatic things in your past, the ones that keep you up at night, it genuinely does help. Nothing gets any better by keeping all that stuff inside. So maybe it's time to open up a little bit, you know? If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Get a break from your thoughts with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com and use /creeper today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/creeper. So give them a call and start your journey to a better life today.
But see, now let's talk a little about this book, The Pizza Killers, Just for the Thrill of It, written by author David, how would you say, Lausa? You think it'd be Lausa or Leosa?
I would say, yeah, Leosa maybe.
Leosa? Okay, we'll call it Leosa. If it's wrong, blame Andy.
I'm no linguist.
But David Leosa talks of meeting future convicted killer Jason Vreeland for the first time at the Sussex Queen Diner just a week before Vreeland and Thomas Koskovich murdered the two pizza delivery men. Quote, I was there with a girl having dinner, and Vreeland needed a ride home. His ride had left him, said Leosa. He was a very nice guy. We hung out for a couple hours. We didn't talk about murder or killing people or guns, nothing. We just talked about music, end quote. Well, yeah, I don't think Vreeland was very... He wasn't quite as bold about it as Koskovich was, you know what I mean? He wasn't that stupid. And also, maybe at this point, I mean, you never know. Like, at teenagers, man, it's like one day to the next, they could decide to do something. This was a week before. Everything might have been going just fine.
Yeah, he may have just been
before, and
he was in a completely could have been a different headspace, thinking about different things. He may have been hanging out with different people. I mean, yeah, I think the two of them had only known each other, Vreeland and Koskovich. They'd only known each other for about a year. They had met each other previously. It's like at this, what was it, like the vocational technical school or something?
Right, yeah.
So it's like they'd only known each other for about a year. It wasn't like these two were lifelong friends or they had been grown up together. These were two people who just met like within the previous year and started kind of getting way too close and way too dark together.
Like I said, fire and gasoline, man. As soon as they met. Mm-hmm. But Leosa was pretty close to this. He grew up in the town in the same county, and like I said, he knew both of these boys. And he says, quote, "I thought I could write a book about this. The first EMT on the scene was a very close family friend, and then I went on a musical tour, and the sound guy on the tour was in jail with them." And Koskovich and Vreeland, that's who he's referring to. He was in jail with Koskovich and Vreeland. And he said, "Throughout my life, it kind of weaved its way in." So Leosa gathered 389 pages of research, from police reports of the murders to advertisements for Adventure Sports, the sporting goods store from which Koskovich and Michael Conklin stole the guns from. And the book's research also included interviews with local residents, politicians, business people, Giordano's family, Koskovich's mother, and the killers themselves.
Yeah.
Here's a quote from Leosa. He says, "I want to point out that neither of them ever apologized," said Leosa. "I never heard the words 'I'm sorry' come out of either of their mouths."
That's something that the father, one of the fathers of the victims has openly says, like, why he can never forgive the two men, because neither of them have ever just expressed any guilt or remorse for what they did. They kind of just wore it as almost like a badge and just went to prison.
Yep.
So...
yeah, Leosa said he never asked Koskovich or Vreeland to apologize because he wanted them to be forthcoming about it, not because he asked for it. Leosa interviewed Vreeland face-to-face in state prison, but also sent both men a list of 250 questions that ranged from asking them about their childhoods to asking if they got beat up in jail. One of the things that Leosa took away from his correspondence with the duo is that they never expected to get caught after the murders. Yeah, no shit. That's why they're still not apologizing, because they're still like, this wasn't supposed to happen.
You're two young, stupid teenagers who thought you could get away with a hastily planned murder.
Yeah.
You didn't. This was, like you said, this was not a plan. This wasn't like stalking and kind of hiding all the evidence and burying the. No, you guys just kind of left the bodies. You took the stuff. You hid it under a window pane, apparently.
Yep.
And then got caught immediately the next day. You went to a fucking public place, asked them for these things. You had security cameras. Yeah, these are just two stupid teenagers.
Exactly.
Who had no idea how the world worked.
No idea. Here's another quote from Leosa. It says, "Jason said that several times, that they wouldn't get caught. That's why they didn't run away. And that's why they didn't wear gloves to avoid fingerprints at the phone booths," Leosa said. Thomas Koskovich got away with the burglary of Adventure Sports, and they assumed that they could get away with the murders as well, end quote.
Yeah, because the police definitely put the same amount of effort into solving a local sporting goods store robbery than a double homicide.
Exactly.
Same amount of effort, I guarantee you. Same amount of people on the case.
How hard could it be?
Same amount of manpower out there. All the same detectives.
Seriously. Vreeland told Leosa the plan after the murders was to continue a crime spree that included robbing and stealing cars. Well, if they're robbing people like they are in this would have been an awful freaking murder spree, dude.
Yeah, it's like, did you think this was going
to
be Grand Theft Auto?
It would have been a murder spree.
Yeah, this was not going to be Grand Theft Auto.
What Grand Theft Auto was out then? Was it number 3?
No, that would have been like 1 or 2 by that. 97.
Are you sure?
Oh yeah, that would have been top down GTA.
Well, dude, Vice City, San Andreas came out in like 99.
Really? I think that's like 2001, 2002. But still, these guys, like, I don't know what they could have thought was going to happen. It's like you didn't have any, like, you didn't have an after plan. You didn't have, like, a backup plan or an escape plan or, like, well, what if this happens? You guys had nothing. You're just like, we won't get caught. That's your whole plan.
Not only will we not get caught, we're going to go on a whole robbing spree. This shit's easy.
No gloves. They don't have our fingerprints. What are they going to do? Like, they're not going to know who we are, man. It's like, no, dude, they always know.
This gives some more insight into Vreeland's mindset. Leosa said he never referred to the incident as a murder, but always as a robbery. At most, a robbery gone wrong. That's it. So Vreeland, in Leosa's opinion, hasn't yet accepted that he and Koskovich went to the abandoned house with guns loaded to kill someone.
Yeah, they did not try to rob. That's what I was talking about earlier. I feel like he's not ready to really admit, even to himself, like what he really did.
No, he's not.
He murdered somebody that he knew, or maybe not, or he assisted in the murder of somebody that he knew, and he killed somebody else. And he wants to just blame. He wants to just say, "Oh, it was Koskovich. He manipulated me. I didn't really fire. I was just trying to impress him, and I had to do it because he said we'd get away with it." No, it's like you executed somebody. We know this.
Yep.
And you still think, well, we were just robbing them. It's like, no. If it was a robbery, you wouldn't have just literally had them roll down the window like a mafia hit.
Right,
because that was something that Koskovich had, like, I think it was Koskovich or maybe it was Vreeland who like talked about he wanted to be a hitman one day and wanted to be one of those kind of, I think one of them brought a sawed-off shotgun to the campus of the vocational school one day to like show his friends. He was like, look what I got. I know it's illegal, but look how cool it is. Like, no, dude, that's never cool.
No, it's absolutely not. Absolutely not. And like I said, guys, check out the book, The Pizza Killers, if you want to learn more, by David Leosa. It's about 151 pages, 11 chapters, and it covers everything from the adventure sports burglary to the trials of Koskovich and Vreeland, and to Koskovich witnessing a murder, the inches from him while sitting on death row. So you get some other stories that don't really pertain to their case. It's just them trying to make themselves gain some empathy or whatever. I don't know what the hell they're trying to do. But enough about them. Let's take a minute here at the end of the show and let's talk about the victims. Let's talk about the lives that were lost, because they didn't just kill anyone. They ruined a whole family, two families actually, and they took two pillars of the community that were good, hardworking people. And in 2017, 20 years after the event, the First Baptist Church of Sussex held a service to honor the victims of what they coined the thrill killings or the pizza murders. Jeremy Giordano's family has been part of the church for a long time. He was the younger one that knew Vreeland. So let's take a minute to talk about Jeremy. Giordano was born on January 5th, 1975 to Joseph and Loretta. He attended Wallkill Valley High School and graduated in 1994. Where he was part of the wrestling team. In his book, Leosa quotes his father, Joseph, saying that he wasn't the best, but he always gave his all.
None of us were the best at high school wrestling.
That's right.
It's high school wrestling. None of you are the best.
None of you are the best in high school sports, period. His mother, Loretta, mentioned that Jeremy was also there for his family and would even assist them when they needed financial help. Now, on the other hand, Jeremy's cousin, Nicholas, revealed that some relatives still struggle to come to terms with his death. In fact, they almost idolize Jeremy now, referring to him as, quote, Saint Jeremy. Nicholas confessed that he thinks about Jeremy's absence every single day. Loretta, Jeremy's mother, is quoted by Leosa, explains that after Jeremy's death, their family became emotionally distant. They didn't know how to express their feelings or talk to each other, and this caused them to physically separate as well. Whenever one of them starts feeling hurt, it affects the others too, and leading to more pain, friction, and ultimately more separation for their families. Unfortunately, many of the Giordano family just haven't gotten over it. Now, as far as Giorgio Gallara, he graduated. He was the owner of Tony's Pizza. He graduated from High Point High School and started working at Tony's Pizza and Pasta in 1988. He saved up money and bought the restaurant from the owner when he was 21 in 1993. Now, buying a pizza place in New Jersey in 93, that's a good-ass investment.
At 21, dude.
At 21.
Like, that is a real deal. Like, that's a real, like, kind of...
He was a hustler, dude.
That's like an American dream story right there. It's like, I'm going to work at this pizza place. 10 years, I'm going to own this pizza place. That's the dream of the 90s,
though. The 90s, the economy was booming. It was the shit.
And everybody kind of had that mentality back then. It's like, I'm going to get a job at this restaurant or at this company, and in several years, I'm going to own it.
That was a reality then, though. The cost of living was so low. There's so many things you could do to save money and make money. It was just... Now it's just up and up and up, man. People can't get ahead.
I mean, yeah, look, 2 pizzas back then for $16. That's a good deal. Like,
what a
inflation
bargain.
is a bitch.
You know what? Give me 4.
Yeah, for real.
But soon after, he had a daughter after he bought the pizza place, named Caitlin, with his girlfriend, Laura Pierce. Gallara was also very passionate about camping. On the night of his murder, Gallara and Laura had plans to go camping, actually. Laura waited for him in Tony's parking lot, but he never returned. Caitlin Pierre, Gallara's daughter, has been deeply affected by his death and thinks about her daddy every day.
I still can't believe that was another thing that they were like, that was just another sad part. It's like the owner, they were about to close up basically. Him and his girlfriend were going to go camping, and Jeremy was supposed to go out on one last delivery.
That's right.
And the owner was just like, I don't feel safe about this. I'm going to ride with you.
Yep.
We'll go knock this out. We'll come back. I'm going to leave straight from the restaurant to go camping. Like, my girlfriend's waiting on me here.
Yep.
Like, it was supposed to just be like one last run of the night. At, like I said, 10 o'clock is when they called.
Dude,
that's a late pizza run.
Just doing that, man, he went above and beyond. You know, that boss could have easily been like, nah,
I'm going camping.
Yeah, go
lock
ahead.
up when you get back.
Exactly. Here's the keys, whatever, you lock up tonight. But he didn't. He had a bad feeling, and he went with his employee and ended up losing his life. But to me, I mean, he went out a legend. Like, what a move, honestly. And according to former Tony's employee, Todd, Gallara was a dedicated worker who knew the area well, and he would work from open to close. And he had extensive knowledge of the local surroundings and the whole community. I mean, he grew up there. You know, he just...
You working for a pizza place for like that many years too? You probably started as a delivery
especially in
driver.
the Northeast, man. You got to know your pizza up there.
You knew your delivery routes. You knew your area. You knew your customers.
There wasn't no Google Maps.
Nah, man. You had to memorize the routes. You knew where the traffic lights were. The shortcuts.
He was like, "Come on, I know where damn Todd Street is. Let's go."
Oh yeah, what is Scott Street?
Scott
I know what
Street.
that is. It's pretty far, but we can make it back.
Yeah.
No, back in the day, you had to be very comfortable driving around, knowing your area, and for me to own a pizzeria in New Jersey. At a time when that's the only food you're getting delivered, besides maybe some like local Chinese takeout if you're in like New York City or something.
Right.
So
this dude knew his shit, man, and it sucks that such a pillar of the community and a hardworking person and a family man was taken. It's always sad, but this is something that I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be more conscious of moving forward. And True Crime Guys is shedding more light on these victims, and I thought that this was a great way to end this episode on a more positive light. Because when you look into this case, everybody is so shocked that they just want to kill somebody. They just want to feel like how it felt. Can you believe that? These guys are psychos. And they forget that two hardworking, innocent people who were trying to do the right thing lost their lives that night. And so that's how I wanted to end this show, as well as a little antidote for you to kind of brighten the mood. Right, Andy?
Right.
Do you have one this week?
I do have one
I was about to fire you if you didn't have it this week, honestly.
Last week, guys, I don't know if you could tell by some of the performance I was giving last week, I had a bit of an incident before we started recording.
Yeah.
If you can see on our YouTube videos,
yeah,
in
look at this on the video,
almost 4K. I destroyed my ring finger, basically threw it off my hand, and I'm going to have to go have some surgery to fix all the tendons and the ligaments. It's a nice little scar I'm going to have there.
Great.
So yes, now this week I'm back on my duties, back on my one job.
He suffered through the episode last week.
The whole episode,
Props
guys, I had an ice pack under the table. I'm just sitting there holding my hands, sweating as it
happened right
up.
before we started. I was like, dude, we got to do this episode.
We got to record, man.
That's dedication. That's what we do. That's what we do. But all right, what do you got for me today, Andy?
So, if our listeners may have been kind of keeping up with these things, I know you guys are going to hear this at a date where this has already happened about a week or so ago where you guys hear this. But if everybody was kind of keeping track of this escaped Pennsylvania prisoner.
Yes. The guy that scaled the walls.
Yes, the guy who just reverse crab walked the wall.
Yeah, that was awesome, actually.
Just America Ninja Warrior himself out of the prison.
These guys are just sitting in here getting ripped, man. You gotta make better cages.
You gotta put a ceiling on that thing, man. Put a lid on that cage. You gotta put a lid on that box.
On that thing, man.
But yeah, guys, if you guys have heard about this Pennsylvania murderer named Daniel Cavalcante. This guy was a Brazilian citizen who was actually arrested in America after murdering his girlfriend several years ago, after also murdering someone in Brazil. So this guy was legitimately a danger to the public, and he was on the loose for about 10 days. And people kept seeing him pop up on different like trail cams and like Ring doorbells or like
It's like Sasquatch out there running
he
around.
was just like, oh, there he is, there he goes,
There he goes.
Oh, I bet, and we can just clear this footage up. Right. Just got grainy
He's
black
just like
and white
parlaying
footage
between trees.
Just a black and white outline. But this guy was finally apprehended a few days ago on Wednesday, and around 1 a.m., a fucking army finally came down on this man because they were genuinely terrified.
5-star wanted level, am I right?
Yes, he literally had the helicopter. He had the aircraft following him with heat sensors.
Yeah.
This man had a 5-star wanted level at this point because he had broken into a home. He had stolen a rifle. This guy was like ready to defend himself or try to get the fuck out of Dodge. But at around 1 a.m. Wednesday, an aircraft that was flying above the search area picked up a heat signature, and they decided to call in a team of 20 to 25 tactical officers to come and storm the area. A storm actually forced the aircraft out, but the rest of the people just went in on foot. They found him lying on top of the rifle he had stolen, and he attempted to try and flee by crawling through a thick underbrush. But guess who got him, baby?
A dog.
A good old dog named.
Good boy.
And guess what their name is?
What's his name?
Yoda.
Oh, I'm looking
I had to
at
pick
Yoda.
this stuff.
Oh.
Listen, I'm not letting this story go. A good
my
boy
God.
named Yoda caught this person.
Yeah, we got to put Yoda on the screen.
Yoda is such
he's
a good
badass.
That is a Jedi master of a police dog right there. This guy apparently tried to crawl through a brush, and Yoda bit the fuck out of him. Subdued by a police dog who bit him as he was crawling through the underbrush, he received a scalp injury before latching his teeth onto the convict's inner thigh, at which time he immediately submitted. I'm going to go ahead and say that was probably a little bit higher than the thigh. You know, I've seen where some of those police dogs go for a lunge.
Yeah, they're not fucking around.
And I think when Yoda had this guy by the dick, I think he was about ready to give up.
You got me. You got me.
The officer says, I think he was in pain at that point. He was probably in excruciating pain, actually.
Yeah.
You think this dog is trying to kill him in a brush? And you're like, okay.
All right. Come on, bud.
All right.
I think he learned his lesson.
Like you were just like a Django Unchained, just getting ripped apart by this dog. You're like, oh, yeah, you're going to get out of our prison, huh? You're not going to climb any more walls now, are you?
No, sir.
You're just letting this man get eaten by a dog. But I just wanted to share this good boy, or is it a girl? I can't remember. Yoda. She's such a precious, good little dog right here.
Right.
Like, very beautiful dog, but like it also kind of looks like a killing machine.
Kind of looks like a badass. I love German Shepherds, and she's like I guess what they call a sable, like a dark brown and black mix, and she looks badass.
Oh, I think she's actually one of the, the Malamute? Yeah, she's a Belgian Malinois.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Even more badass.
Yeah, she's a pretty tough cat right there. But yeah, I wanted to share you guys. If you guys were in the Pennsylvania area, you're probably already really attached to this escaped murderer.
Well, that video went viral of him, scaling that wall.
Yeah, I love how he did that right in front of the camera.
Area. Yeah.
Like it's almost like
all of it's on camera.
I know, it's almost like you kind of wanted to see him like look up at the camera and be like, watch.
Right.
Like just be like, I'm out. Like kind of like Ted Bundy going through the ceiling or something like that.
It is crazy how fast he was able to get up that wall and get out of there.
He did. Like he just, like I said, American Ninja Warrior just up that wall real quick.
And he's not even that tall. They need to spread those walls out a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean 9 foot wingspan. 9 foot wingspan. Come on.
This guy, I mean, he's shorter than like every officer that arrested him.
Yeah, when you see him getting taken away too, he's got blood just coming down his face from where the dog just attacked his fucking head. But yeah, this guy right here, he was definitely a threat to this local community, and I'm glad that he was finally subdued. He's going to be going right back to prison, hopefully in a sealed container. But guys, that was my antidote this week. I was sharing some good news of this local prisoner who's finally gotten back in custody, and the good girl named Yoda who got the final just chomp at the apple.
All right. Well, thanks, Andy. Thank you very much for that antidote. That's good to know, man. When I saw that video, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, that guy looked
How could they let that happen? How has that not happened before?
How is he the first one to be like,
wait a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, he's not even that tall. I mean, this guy might be 5'8", 5'7". I mean, a 6 foot person would have even more leverage to press up in that gap and could easily get out of there.
Yeah, I could have damn near just put my arms out and just been like, whip, hip, hip. Like, it's not that wide. Not a wide hallway.
That's right. Well, he would look really cool on the camera too. Like as far as like not stressed out is what I mean. Not like cool. I mean, I guess it's pretty cool that he did that, but
It didn't look like he was
I
struggling.
gotta admit, that's gonna sound really cool in a biography at the end. Not so much of the killing people, but that part.
He's gonna look cool when he gets back in prison. They're like, "Oh, you that guy, like Spider-Man out of here? That's cool."
bro. Spider-Man, he's back.
Like, we all tried that. They shot us. We all tried after you. They just beanbagged our ass immediately.
Exactly. Well, like I was going to say, man, he kept his cool, but he probably could have used some Oh My Gaia. You know what I'm saying? But that wouldn't have helped because the scent dogs would have definitely found him.
Oh, they would have caught his ass real quick.
They'd be like, that smells amazing.
Something is delicious in this brush.
Seriously.
What is it, a lumberjack? Hey, you smell honeysuckle?
If you guys haven't yet, got to check out Oh My Gaia for all your all-natural deodorant, scented oil, all that good stuff. Oh My Gaia is an innovative all-natural deodorant, fragrance, and beard oil company specializing in paraben and aluminum-free products. Their innovative line of deodorants inhibit the growth of odor-causing bacteria while still maintaining effectiveness. And at Oh My Gaia, they use only all-natural, paraben, and aluminum-free organic ingredients. It's paraben and aluminum wreak havoc on your body and your hormones, people. You don't want to put them in your armpits anymore.
You don't want to just clog up all those pores with
No,
aluminum?
don't do it.
You want to just take a soda can, just stick it in your armpit and just leave it there?
Right.
No. You want to put some
That doesn't sound
all-natural,
healthy.
Oh My Gaia
Get some
in them
Reynolds
pits.
wrap and just...
Yeah.
Right?
Aluminum foil, just...
But guys, there is definitely a scent for you from vanilla, cherry almond, sandalwood, lavender, lemongrass, Egyptian musk, coconut, dreamsicle, leather, lumberjack. There's pear, sweet pea, sailor, barbershop, and we have our very own scent dedicated to true crime guys called True Crime Pine. If you guys don't know where to start, I highly recommend there. It has our OG podcast logo on it back when me and Lauren's mugshots were on the logo. That is the sticker for the True Crime Pine. Very cool. We love working with Oh My Gaia. And because you guys are True Crime Guys listeners, you can use the word creeper for 15% off your order. That's CREEPER for 15% off your order at shop_Oh My Gaia on Instagram, as well as ohmygaia.com.
You want to get some of that, guys? I put some on my beard every once in a while and get my beard all nice and
Yes,
soft.
the beard oil
and
is
smooth.
great. It really is. It really
yeah.
is. It kind of helps you shape your beard too. You know, like in between trims, you know, you got these hairs that want to stick out all scraggly. Guys, you know what I'm talking about. You put a little beard oil in there, it kind of tames the beast. Makes it look like one nice cohesive unit. You know what I'm saying?
You don't want to be
know what I'm
wild
saying?
things out here. You
know
want
what I'm saying.
You want to look suave and smooth.
That's right. That's right. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you listening. If you're listening on YouTube, please don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell or whatever the hell they have on YouTube so you know when we're uploading videos.
Smash that like button.
Yeah, smash the buttons, man. Whatever you got to do, whatever you guys got to do. Also, smash that Patreon button. It's right below the link in this description. You can go to everything True Crime Guys. You'll see it in all caps right below the description of this episode. Click that link. That'll take you to our link tree, and you can find everything there from our YouTube channel, our Spotify page, patreon.com, merch, all the good stuff, guys, right below. You can follow us on social media at True Crime Guys on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. All the good stuff. Andy, am I leaving out anything?
Oh, no, I think we probably just need to start correcting ourselves now because it's actually X.
X. Yeah, that's going to take me a while.
Yeah, it's not working out so far.
Nah, it's not working out. But anyways, guys, we'll see you back here. No, we'll be on Patreon for our regular True Crime Guys episode, this style episode. But we will see you here on the free platform with headlines and shenanigans next week. And until then, I guess you just have to keep creeping. All right, see you guys.
Bye.
You hush your mouth, boy.